Theodore Robert Bundy was born on November 24, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. Raised in an unstable environment, Bundy initially believed his grandparents were his parents and that his mother was his sister. This confusing upbringing may have contributed to his complex personality. Despite these early challenges, Bundy was known as charismatic and intelligent, attributes that later helped him manipulate his victims and evade capture. Bundy studied psychology at the University of Washington and was considered a promising student. He even worked on a suicide prevention hotline, a paradox considering the violent path he would later take. However, beneath his seemingly normal exterior lurked a dangerous predator. Bundy's killing spree began in the 1970s, spanning multiple states, including Washington, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, and Florida. His victims were primarily young women, often college students. He lured them by feigning injury, using props like a sling or crutches to appear harmless. Once the women were close enough, Bundy would overpower and abduct them, later sexually assaulting and murdering them. One of Bundy's first confirmed murders occurred in 1974. That year, multiple young women vanished near Seattle. The disappearances were marked by eerie similarities. Witnesses often described a charming man named Ted driving a Volkswagen Beetle. His ability to blend into society and his calculated approach to targeting victims made him a particularly dangerous predator. Bundy was first arrested in 1975 during a traffic stop in Utah, where police found burglary tools in his car. This arrest marked the beginning of his downfall, though it would take years before his crimes were fully uncovered. While in custody, Bundy was linked to several unsolved murders. However, he escaped twice. In 1977, while awaiting trial for murder in Colorado, Bundy jumped from a courthouse window and managed to evade law enforcement for days. Later that year, he escaped from jail again by sawing through a light fixture in his cell. He fled to Florida, where he continued his killing spree. Bundy's final murders were some of his most brutal. In January 1978, he broke into the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University. In a horrifying rampage, he killed 2 women and severely injured 2 others. His next victim, 12-year-old Kimberly Leach, was abducted and murdered a few weeks later. These crimes shocked the nation and solidified Bundy's reputation as one of the most dangerous killers of the era. Bundy's trial was one of the first to be televised nationally, turning it into a media spectacle. Representing himself in court, Bundy's charm and intelligence were on full display. He relished the attention, often smiling for cameras and making headlines. Despite his efforts to outsmart the legal system, Bundy was convicted of multiple murders and sentenced to death in 1979. After nearly a decade on death row, Bundy was executed in Florida's electric chair on January 24, 1989. His death was met with widespread public approval, with crowds outside the prison cheering as the news broke. Before his execution, Bundy confessed to 30 murders, though the true number of his victims may be higher. Ted Bundy's case continues to fascinate and horrify people. It has inspired numerous books, documentaries, and films, delving into the psychology of a man who appeared normal but committed unspeakable acts. His story serves as a stark reminder that evil can sometimes hide in plain sight,